Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Running the Bases. I'm your host, Michael Garaffa, joined by Ryan Blank, Nick Nath, and we have a very special guest today. Jessica Kleinschmidt has joined us for an incredible episode of Running the Bases. Here it is the off season. We have promised to bring some great guests. Jess, welcome to the show. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we have been looking for some incredible guests to have this entire off season. You are our first of the off season, so we wanted to come in with a bang. We have a full slate, we hope, of great guests to bring on this entire off season, but you are number one. Jessica has worked for NBC Sports Bay Area and California, covering the athletics for 3 years. She doesn't anymore, but she was. She's now searching for her next journey, wherever that may be. She's been covering baseball in some capacity since 2012. Jessica, anything else that you would like to toss in there for the Running the Bases viewers?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm kind of looking for my next gig. I think I found some things, but with the lockout and lack of signing the actual contract, you should never announce where you're going until the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. But it's weird to go from covering because I covered all sports for NBC Sports Bay Area, so I'd never really had an off season. So now that I'm solely baseball, my writer friends who only cover baseball are like, "Oh, you could enjoy the off season." I'm bored as hell. Like, I'm so bored. So I'm figuring things out to do and realizing like there's more to life than a job, which is honestly like a huge growth experience for me. But yeah, those are the things that I'm working on right now. But hopefully in the next month or so, I can make some official announcements.
Yeah, hopefully baseball will open itself up soon enough for all of us and all of our sakes, because it has been, I mean, we've had a couple weeks now of lockout and there's been zero talk at all. I mean, we went from, I mean, baseball was it was incredible for a few days. And I mean, for all we know, they might not even be talking to each other yet. So it's been a hectic 2 weeks and a very quiet 2 weeks. So we're all hoping. So we're gonna get rolling with the questions here. I will start it off, and then we'll go Nick and Ryan just in order, and then we can always just jump in and ask questions if you guys have them, because this is very lackadaisical. But the first question I have is, what advice would you give to kids that are our age who are trying to get into baseball broadcasting in some capacity?
I think the most important thing is to remind yourself that there are different paths. And Michael, I just talked to you about this before I popped on. You know, I'm literally a college dropout. So when I talk to colleges, they're like, "Hey, what classes should I take?" I have no idea. You know, like I think I tapped out at journalism 102 or something. It just like was a different kind of vibe for me. And I was lucky enough where what I'm doing more of the media or the personality side, where they're not going to be looking necessarily at, you know, my college transcripts and everything like that. But I think it's reminding yourself that you can take the rare route or the non-traditional route. And I think that's important. And to really, content is king these days, and it's ever changing too. Like when I first got in the industry, everybody was blogging and that was brand new. And that was kind of like, bloggers can't be reporters. They can't be this, they can't be that. But then now some of the biggest clickable websites are news-based, and they do consider blogs an actual resource. And I feel like that's very important to show that, you know. And then it turned into radio, and then it turned into podcasts. And then when COVID happened, everybody had a podcast and everything like that. So it's really about concentrating on just being yourself. And I feel like being authentic is the most important advice you can give anybody, because my thing is like when I first got in the industry, I wanted to be Katie Nolan or the next Sarah Spain or the next Michelle Beadle. And I was trying so hard to be like them. And I was like realizing like none of my content was selling well, like being clicked on or paid attention to. And I just like woke up one day and kind of said, fuck it, and was just myself. And then people started paying attention. And I think that just helps, because my people will talk to me, players will talk to me a little bit better, the managers will. And I go to bed at night knowing I wasn't like selling myself to be this person that I'm not. And I was blessed enough at NBC, they let me write as in my own tone, which was important. And you have to find a place that does that and all of that. But you really can't give up, because I hate when people are like, "Oh, you're just going to write a blog and everybody's doing that." And it's like, well, yeah, you have to create content somehow. You have to get people to pay attention to what you're saying. And social media is important, but you don't have to like be all fancy schmancy about it, and that type of stuff. And figuring out the avenues that you excel in and sticking to those, but knowing that you kind of have to be a 5-tool player. Like, I want to be the Mike Trout of baseball media, where if I need to host, I can do that. If I need to be a reporter, I can do that. If I need to just be a media personality or an analyst, I can do all of those things. But figure out the thing that you're the best at, and then that way you do stand out better than the rest, if you will. Networking is super important, and as a woman, you need to find a strong sports media tribe, develop a really strong friendship base, but also they understand like the BS that we deal with and stuff like that. There are a lot of people that can help you along the way. And all of that. So there's a lot of little tidbits of advice, but I think the most important thing is being yourself and just working your ass off, because eventually things will work out for you. Just don't work at it hard for 1 month and then say, you know what, I tried, because you didn't. If you only give it a month, that's BS. So those are probably the main factors that I would say.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to say I love your license plate in the back, the Joey Votto.
Oh, my Joey Votto license plate.
Yeah, it's so clean.
Thank you. He's my favorite player of all
really?
time.
That's awesome. I grew up like 30 minutes outside of Cincinnati, so I grew up all up with Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, those type of teams. But yeah, my question to you was, what's the coolest thing that you've seen or experienced while covering MLB baseball?
Interviewing Joey Votto. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot. Like, I feel like my favorite moments are the things that I witness that maybe people might not see unless I write them in a story or tweet about them. I think like Tim Lincecum trying to make his comeback was really, really cool. I was still in Reno. I'm from Reno. So I was covering the Reno Aces, and Tim Lincecum was making his comeback, or attempting to. And I got to break the news that he was going to make his MLB re-debut. And of course, people were questioning it. They're like, well, how does she know? And it's like, well, Tim Lincecum literally told me, type of stuff. So that was like big diva energy for me, and everything like that. And obviously meeting Joey Votto was really cool, because my colleagues like surprised me with the assignment, because the A's never play the Reds. They like never play the Reds. And I was mainly working in studio, and they're like, hey, we need you out on assignment. And I saw my name was in the schedule to interview Joey. And not only did he surpass like, meeting because I genuinely want to be him when I grow up. I want to be a millionaire who works in baseball, who is kind of quirky and weird. Like, that's my ultimate goal. And he surpassed everything that I would think of. You're always nervous to meet your heroes, but he did a beautiful job. Just was respectful and extremely, extremely intelligent. We talked about Barry Bonds for like 20 minutes. He kind of gave him this funny joke about Mike Trout, which was cool. And then I got to see Mike Fiers throw his second no-hitter that exact game. And it was cool because Joey Votto almost hit a home run. Ramon Laureano robbed him of the home run. And that day was Ramon Laureano introduced himself to Joey. And now Ramon is like obsessed with Joey, because he even saw my license plate when I had Ramon Laureano on a show. And Ramon was like, how do you know, like, do you know Joey Votto? And we just, before we pressed record, we were just shooting the shit about Joey. And that's just like, Ramon Laureano is one of the most passionate players I've ever seen. And to know that he looks up to Joey Votto was really cool. And like, he gets a little nervous to talk to Joey Votto. So like those types of things, just like the players I genuinely become close with, see that, like Tony Kemp, him and his wife have been trying to have a child forever. And now they're finally pregnant and due this month, that kinds of stuff. Or they just open up to me about their wives and getting married and stuff like that. The stuff that you won't see on the baseball reference page. So I'm lucky enough where I can't give you just one answer. Right. And so that's kind of cool from that. Postseason, Twitter flew me out to cover the World Series one year. Dontrell Willis once was like, hey, I want to learn from you. Like, that was dope. He's, he just got into broadcasting recently and he's been amazing at it, but he's like, Jess, I need to learn from you and stuff like that. So those are probably some of the moments that stick out the most.
First, I want to thank you for coming onto the show. This is awesome. Second, I know I did a little bit of research and I read this article that said that you found your desire and want to cover baseball after a trip to the Coliseum in Oakland. What was it like to now work in the Oakland Coliseum, the place where you found that want to cover baseball?
You know, it's bigger than that, and I'm glad you did your research, because it's like one of the most, literally the most romantic things about the game, and you know, obviously the Moneyball quotes in there. So when I arrived at the Coliseum, I was 12 years old. I was playing Little League at the time, and it was really funny because I had to switch from first to third base, because when you're me, everybody else keeps growing, and I stayed the same size at 12, so I had to shift to third. And I hated it because I was like, I like JT Snow a lot. I wanted to be like that guy. But then when I shifted to third, I realized I had a good arm. And so when I arrived at the Coliseum, the moment I sat down, Eric Chavez goes yard. And I was like, who is that? And I looked at the program, and it was not only I found it was Eric Chavez, but him and I share a birthday too. A few years apart, of course, but you know, it was kind of cool from that. And so the moment I got home from that trip, I looked at my dad and I was like, Dad, I'm going to, like, this team is going to be a part of my life one day. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. And that kind of like lit a fire underneath my ass to be a sports reporter. I just fast forward a trillion years and I'm doing it. And I remember looking, and of course, unfortunately, that was the last MLB game my dad never went to because he passed away a few years later, or several years later. But it was like a full circle moment. And so when I did my MLB debut, like my actual coverage of the game, Eric Chavez threw out the first pitch the next day. And so it was just like a whole full circle moment for me. And now it's literally like my home away from home, and I've become so close to the front office staff. And it's like, sometimes I do have to take a step back and remind myself, like, this was where my life literally changed, you know? And so I get goosebumps thinking about it sometimes. And unfortunately, the Coliseum is not going to be around forever as far as where the A's are going to play, but it's nice to know it's hosted so many of those cool memories. You know, meeting Joey Votto for the first time, my dad's last game, my first baseball game date was there. And we didn't work out, but it was fucking dope. Like at that point, you know, cool kind of stuff from that. But every now and then I do have to take a step back and remind myself, like, this is where it all started. Because as much as I love like working in sports, you do sometimes view it as a job. And I'm lucky enough where I can count those times like on my hand, because like, you know, sometimes you just like are exhausted. In August and September, your mind is mashed potatoes, and you have to write all these articles, especially with the A's this past season. Like, they were out of the race. So you're kind of like, what am I writing about? But then you look at the guys and they're like struggling to get to the finish line because they're just, you know, their bodies are shutting down, and you get more inspiration and stuff. But every now and then I have to just go to a game for fun and remind myself, like, this is where it all started. And that's why I am so passionate about it. And, you know, watching Mark Kotze on that Eric Chavez team, and now he's on the coaching staff, you know, and possibly going to be the A's manager and all this other stuff. It's just like the cool stuff. Or Bobby Crosby, you know, he was the shortstop on that team, and now he's a friend of mine. Dallas Braden, he's like a brother to me, and he was a part of that team. And I remember his perfect game and stuff like that. So those moments I forget about, because this job does come natural to me, but those cute romantic moments, I have to remind myself of those. That's an amazing question, Ryan. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, it's ironic that you mentioned Dallas Braden, because I was going to bring him up at some point, because you have gotten very close to him. And as someone that you watched, you know, on your team that you fell in love with, how awesome is that to get into baseball and be able to work among people that you did look up to? And how much does that kind of fuel you to be even better, and, you know, the comfort level? I'm intrigued about that.
Yeah, and especially with Dallas, he taught me a lot to be myself, because like for me, I'm a very like in your face, like honest person. And that terrifies me when you put a camera in front of me. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to be too weird. But then you have Dallas Braden, who's like yelling Pound Town on national television, or talking about, you know, saying the A's bullpen is sexual. And I'm sitting here like, okay, so I can like just talk like I feel I want to talk, and, you know, just saying certain things. So he taught me about that. Obviously, it's different coming from a woman. I don't think people are quite ready for that, but I also like don't care, like suck it up. I'm going to talk how I'm going to talk. And I think he taught me how to do that. And he's got so much energy, and he's reminding me to up the energy too, no matter who I'm talking to. Cause sometimes, you know, it's just like, if you're talking to a person, you're going to feed off of their energy, and you need to remind yourself, like, you're setting the tone for the energy, for the interview with your energy. And he does that a lot. And I feel like that's important to think about as well. But he's just an inspiration on so many levels because we both lost a parent. The A's were a huge part of, around that time. He threw his perfect game on Mother's Day and he lost his mom. And I've gotten to ask him about that and everything like that. And I think just having that behind me is good. And he just like supports me. And, I get picked on constantly on social media. And it's like, for women, it doesn't matter if I'm physically there and I ask, Bob Melvin a question and I will quote him. They're like, well, where'd you get that source? But if Dallas Braden says it, they usually kind of just let it go. And it's like, no matter what I do, if I'm on the panel with Dallas Braden, Michael Morse, whoever, their MLB knowledge or their MLB playing resume will be better than mine for the rest of my life. It doesn't matter. So I have to kind of back myself up, and just having somebody who's like, no, Jessica knows what she's talking about, even though I don't need it. Having somebody who's a reputable like him, or not just with baseball, but in the media industry. And he picked it up so well. He's probably one of the more brilliant, entertaining analysts in the game that isn't being talked about enough and everything like that. So I think he just inspires me in so many ways. And he's a great dad and a great husband. And, I eventually want those things in my life as well. So I think just having somebody like that, and Dontrell Willis too, like he of course never played for the A's, but he's a Bay Area guy. And to know that he's looking up to me in certain ways, and just like his swag, and remind myself like they're themselves on TV, I should do the same thing. So they're inspirational in so many ways. And it's really cool to have somebody like that's your brother, like on the same squad as you. Like it just makes work and life way more fun. I just can't drink with him anymore because he always gets me way too drunk. Can't do it.
He's also got a killer beard, Dallas.
He's got a really great beard. Every time we go out, like he gets all the attention, and he loves it too. He's not annoyed by it. He'll sign anything, everything like that. So yeah, he does have his beard. And I feel like everybody brings, I'm like, maybe I'm used to it now, but like everybody will just be like, tell him to shave his beard. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to open that can of worms. Absolutely not.
Jess, you kind of like alluded it before, but like growing up in Vegas, like I don't know, you can probably like confirm this more than I can, but like every time I'm in Vegas, or every time like I just hear baseball in Vegas, like the need for a team in Vegas just speaks volumes to me. And like as someone that like has covered the A's for majority of like the years, like with the A's being like the most possible team going to Vegas, like could you see that possibly happening in the next couple of years?
So the quick answer is yes, I could see it, but I feel like they're making a lot of strides to make sure that it doesn't happen. I want to be clear, no matter what happens, the A's will not be playing at the Coliseum come 2025. And that has nothing to do with anything besides they want, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ballpark Village and, for Busch Stadium, like that's what they ultimately want. And I feel like that's a good selling point for baseball. And like the Bay Area baseball vibe is very like, we love the Giants because they win, and the A's are like, they're okay as far as the fandom goes, like the casual fan, right? And that's difficult to kind of reel in. Like Oakland fans are extremely hardcore and they're ride or dies, but there aren't enough of them to fill a stadium. And so this ballpark at possibly happening at Howard Terminal is more of like the Ballpark Village vibe. So before a game, you go get some beers at the local bar, you play some pool, you bring more revenue into the area. And that's what they ultimately want. They want the like downtown Ballpark Village atmosphere. And that lease is going to expire in 2024 in Oakland. I will say over the last 6 months, I went from, so 6 months ago, I was saying it'd be 50-50, the A's were going to relocate to Vegas. Now I feel like it's like 70-30 in the opposite. I really firmly believe they're going to stay in Oakland. And I think, Mayor Libby Schaaf is doing she's the Oakland mayor. She's doing a beautiful job wanting to keep the A's in Oakland. Her and Dave Kaval, A's president, have a beautiful relationship as far as the communication, and that they both want to keep it in. And Kaval's the guy where he works his butt off to making sure that's going to be a reality. And there are a lot of, political things that are involved, but they also do have to go to Vegas in case they do have that backup plan, which is fair, right? If the Oakland thing doesn't work out, they want to make sure like, and think about it this way, guys, the beauty of moving to Vegas is gambling is becoming more popular. It's going to be legal everywhere soon. And you want to move to Vegas where it's already legal and you can bring more revenue into it. You'll have all three sports there. So that's understandable. However, I will say, they're making really good strides to keep the A's in Oakland, but come 2025, the Coliseum will not be the home of the A's. And it's only because they want more of that ballpark village downtown vibe.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. I have two things. First one, I meant to mention it earlier, but I forgot. I was asked to say Casey Upperman says hi.
Oh, I love him.
He's a good buddy of mine. He wanted to say hello. So for you, obviously shifting back to Nick's question, because I think it's a really important thing. What do you think the message should be to A's fans? Because I have a really great friend of mine that I work with who's an A's fan. And, he feels like he's been an A's fan forever. He's, I believe, in his 50s. And, to him, he feels like, man, my childhood team they don't know what to do with us, the real fans. So what do you think from someone who works for the A's, worked for the A's, what do you think that message should be to fans that kind of feel like they're being put to the side a little bit?
I want to say, like, I completely understand where he's coming from. I've covered games where there was hundreds of fans in the stadium, and then the game where they broke the wild card attendance record. So I've seen it full of fans, and I got to be honest, I can't feel the difference. I can see the difference, but either way, it's always loud. It's always boisterous. And I feel like that speaks volumes, pun intended, to how great those fans actually are. But I also don't see them really showing up a lot. I feel like they're always complaining, like, oh, we don't fill seats. And I get it. Like, sometimes parking's an issue. BART drives you right there and everything like that. So I'll see a lot of times where I'm like, okay, but then you take that stuff out of it. And obviously you guys know I'm very social media savvy. They're very boisterous on, like, online, everything like that. And I want them to make more of an effort as far as what can we do to make this better for you. And I feel like they're doing that as far as the front office goes. But I also know that this last season, when it comes to, like, the season ticket thing, it kind of was a hot mess. They're trying to have people, this is just what I've seen, like, they were increasing the prices of tickets for season ticket holders, which kind of shocked me. And I don't want to bash the A's at all. I wasn't around, or I wasn't working for NBC at the time, so I didn't do much research on it. But a lot of things were kind of difficult to kind of just watch as, like, a casual fan as far as what they were doing. But I do understand kind of where the fans are coming from. Because, yeah, you're right. It's like the A's are kind of the redheaded stepchild of MLB. Nobody actually hates them, right? You can't, like, bash on the A's, but it's kind of like, oh, there they are, like, the annoying little step kid who makes it to playoffs sometimes but can't really get there, but they're going to piss us off on the way. And they have, like, all these great players and they don't really spend money and, like, everything like that. So I feel like it's a lot of years of, I understand where these fans are coming from. I'm curious, like, what they kind of want to see, like, things change. There has to be some sort of change, right? Or if there's not, what should we keep the same? But at the end of the day, like, the main things are they're not spending a lot of money on players. They still have the old stadium that people love to complain about. But that's the thing that pisses me off too. I was on a podcast it was like a Mariners podcast. This guy was literally talking shit about the Coliseum. He's like, oh, there's crap everywhere and this and that. And I was like, okay, when's the last time you went to the Coliseum? And he said, I've never been there. So I straight up said, shut the fuck up. Let me take you to a game next year. And then you can talk crap. Because, like, if you've been there and experienced it and hated it, totally understand. Talk some crap. But if you have $20 lying around, you pay for a ticket, you're pretty much in the dugout at that point. Like, and enjoy it. It's a really good vibe. And so I just don't like when people are bashing on it without even making the effort to go to a game. So to me, it's lazy. I'm not saying your friend's lazy, of course, but I'm just saying, like, this is a very popular opinion that pops around. So it just, they're the best fans. They're the best fans. They're very passionate and stuff. But I totally understand where they're coming from with the frustrations and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm hoping if they do stay in Oakland, it'll bring more robust attendance and everything like that. Because at the end of the day, like, that's who the team plays for. The players perform better in front of a ton of fans. And, now that we can have the safety of the fans there, it's great. But there's so much dark clouds over it right now. And we can't escape it until some decisions are made and the owner spends money and stuff. So we're not forgetting about those fans. We just understand there's a lot of like crap going on, a lot of dark clouds over it right now.
I know you kind of mentioned how Vegas and gambling. What's your stance on the whole gambling thing and the rise of gambling? And do you think that it could help the MLB?
Ryan, you asked me a great question earlier. We are not referring to it as the MLB. It's just MLB. Okay. I'm saying this because I love you. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. No, it's a good question. But so I'm from Reno where gambling is normal. Like my dad worked in a casino. So I think when I turned 21, I spent $20 on a gambling machine. I don't even know what they call them. And I was good. I was like, cool. That was the $20 I worked my ass off for. And now it's gone. So I get it. I think it's really interesting. I worked for FanDuel for 2 seasons, and you actually could learn a lot about any sport by playing fantasy sports. And I feel like now that we can embrace gambling, like fantasy is gambling now. It is what it is. I think it'll help all sports. It's no different from like your fantasy team, right? For football, I really, I was born in Baltimore, so I'm a Ravens fan, but I kind of stopped watching them. But now with my fantasy team, I'm watching more football. And I think that's going to help with MLB. Who cares about like blah, 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 whatever. But I think this will bring more revenue into the game, because if Joey Votto doesn't go 4 for 4 and hit 87 bombs in this game, like I'm out $1,000. Here's the thing though. Do not get pissed off if somebody who is a fantasy gambling analyst doesn't anticipate Mike Trout going 0 for 4. Like nobody called that. Like don't get mad that you lost $50 and like tweet them and like threaten their lives, because that shit happens all the time and it's stupid. So I think it'll be good, and I think it creates good drama, but I also personally think it's extremely unhealthy. I just do. But for like, from a hypocritical standing point, I think it's good for the game. I do. I'm worried it could get out of hand, and that's a personal view, but I think it really brings a lot of different minds to the game. And you want the guy who's pissed off that he lost $50, but he filled the seat. He's yelling inappropriate things at a player. That stuff's just going to happen. But, I've seen the negative sides where like Liam Hendricks him and his wife had his life threatened because he blew a save once, and because they had money riding on the game, and that stuff is scary. Those are very few and far between, but they do happen. Overall though, sure, it'll be successful, I guess.
And then one last question from me. I want to know your Corked Up podcast. How did that come about? I'm very curious about it.
Well, it's no longer running, but it was actually a funny story. I was like getting ready for spring training 2020. This is before everything got shut down. And Trevor Bauer wanted me to come on his podcast. And I was like, oh, sure. But then I talked to his agent. She's like, actually, what if you and I started a podcast? And we kind of hit it off like quickly. And I showed up to the audition, which was just their house with all the content. And she was like, let's just chat and see what happens. And it was supposed to be us talking for 30 minutes, and we talked for 3 hours. And so we obviously hit it off, and we were learning from each other. I learned about the agency side of it. She learned from the media side of it. And it was a really cool podcast that was born. It's just no longer in production. But I will tell you, the longer you're in the industry, the more podcasts that you will have that will ultimately fail. I think I've had like 3 or 4 podcasts that have failed. So I feel like I'm doing pretty great so far. So there's that. Yeah, but it was really fun. I learned a lot, and she's full of knowledge, and we're still really good friends. So that's good. But yeah, so it's cool.
Man, I find it really great that we're at season 5 of this show. I'm really, I guess that's a great thing. We've been running this for
Friday Night Lights amount of season numbers.
Wow. That's awesome. Incredible.
Yeah.
So before you do head out, Nick has a segment that he does on the show where he gives us a player's stats, and we're to guess who the player is. So okay. He's doing his segment today, and I wanted him to. He came up with an athletics player to do, and we're all going to try and guess who the player is.
Is he a current player? No.
Cool.
So it's everybody. Everybody's a former A. So this is going to be great. Cool.
This is just centered towards pitchers. I think pitching. Okay, yeah. I guess I'll get started then. This guy went 165 and 143 in his career. Finished with a 4.04 ERA, one-time Cy Young Award winner, one-time World Series, and a 3-time All-Star.
He won a World Series. Was he the World Series MVP?
No.
One Cy Young Award?
Yep, one
Did
Cy Young.
he win the World Series with the A's?
No.
Oh.
Nick, you just went right for the throat with this one.
I don't know.
I got a guess.
Okay.
Barry Zito?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because he did. Damn it.
Yes.
That's embarrassing. I should have known that one.
That's okay. That's it.
The joke was he still pitched well for the A's even after he left the A's. Yeah.
That's great. That's a good one. That's like Hector Neris when he left the Phillies. Everyone on Mets Twitter was crying. Man, well, Jessica, it was great to have you on the show today. We learned a lot. I would love to have you back at some time in the future as well, because I'm sure there's so much more we can get into. Just so many questions I have, and I'm sure Nick and Ryan both have as well. And you're always welcome to come back. We would love to have you. We'd even love to have you on just to play in more games and do just to talk baseball. And
whenever y'all need me.
We would love it. So I will absolutely be in touch with you about that. And any final words? Where can people find you on social media, and where can they hear you and see you, even though there's not much going on?
On Twitter, I'm Kleinschmidt JD. Instagram, Jessica Kleinschmidt. Bunch of stuff coming up, and I'll make those announcements as soon as I can. But everything I ever do is going to usually be on my Twitter. So make sure you guys are following me there.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone, make sure you go follow her. What'd you say, Nick?
I was saying thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I just found their Twitter and followed. So
I saw both you and Nick did with the
Good work, Nick.
Man,
good
work, guys. And then there's me. It's just who's been following.
Oh, I do have one thing today. Yes. Did this come out like today? Because it's live.
Yeah, this is live right now.
Okay, cool. So if you guys are extremely bored today, I will be on the No Filter Network with Giants legend, 6-time All-Star Will Clark at 2:00. It's only $1 to watch me not stumble my words, because I haven't done an interview in 2 months. So it'll be interesting to see if I even know how to talk anymore. So good luck to that, Jess.
I'm glad that we got you warmed up for that. That's great. We got your talkative.
Everything's flowing now. I just need to I don't know anything about Barry Zito apparently, but that's embarrassing. I should have known that. Jesus.
I mean, high five to Ryan for getting that. That was great.
And high five to Nick to being like, oh, she'll get this one. This is easy.
It took me a second. I was doubting myself. I was like, did Barry Zito pitch for the A's? Because I thought he did.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm just going to go with it. If I'm
wrong,
that's
how he got all that damn money from the Giants, was because of how good he was with the A's. And it's just and then he got one of those big contracts and that's it.
Didn't live up to it.
Yeah.
He did well in San Francisco. He just didn't do A's well.
He did. It was obviously, Zito was part of that amazing trio with the A's. So everything like that. And I've seen Zito more since he's retired than I ever did when he played. So it's kind of funny. He was always in studio because he put out, I really want to read his book. His new book that came out is supposed to be really good. And great interview, great guy. But it's just funny. I was like, bro, I never talked to you when you played. But I guess I was younger, but I always saw him randomly in the A's press box and stuff. So
we were 2 when you won the Cy Young. So
I won't tell you how old I was because I don't want that. Not that I want that smoke. I just had a birthday. Somebody said they thought I was 27. I was like, that works for me. Sure.
It's fine. Hey, run with it if that's what people think. Well, again, Jess, thank you so much. It was an honor for us to have you on. It was a great time. Good luck with your show later. That should be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing how that goes. And we will hopefully have you on sometime soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. That was great.
Okay. I was about to say, please switch that.
Yes, I did. I had to. That was fantastic. Jess was incredible. We're hoping to have some more incredible guests on for the rest of this winter. Hopefully, one more great one next week.
And now
I
the
have to
fun comes in for me because now I can go at Michael.
Yes, thank you for waiting. That was fantastic. I was hoping
I have a time and place. I have a filter. I am professional.
Yes, well, after yes, that's great. I'm glad. Thank you.
Nick, I love the support.
Always.
Yes, always. That was awesome when she called you out for saying the MLB. I was like,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to phrase it correctly how I have to write it in articles. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's very it's something that always I never got right either. I would always type the MLB, and then when I heard it when I got into college, I was like, "Ooh, okay, I got to be careful."
Right, so when I talk, I say MLB, but every time I write an article, I am told to write the MLB. So
they're wrong.
Well, I've said that to my editor a couple times, and he's just like, "No, you're going to write it as the MLB." I'm like,
you tell him he's wrong. I don't care that he's your editor. You have to tell him he's wrong because it's not the Major League Baseball. It's Major League
Baseball. Yes.
Yeah, wow. You could tell him that Jessica Kleinschmidt said so, and then I'm sure
I know have a professional has my back on it. We're good to go.
You do. That's fantastic, and I'm sure you can tell her to
also
write a letter to your editor.
Say it. Why are you using the private chat? I have comments pulled up, and then you cut me off. I was about to click unmute to talk, and then you just came out of nowhere.
Well, I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm really apologize.
I was like, I'm not going to cuss. I was thinking.
You can. She went all out today.
Okay, so I'll say it. This prick. I'm not going to that much, but like, okay. I was like, wow, he did not just do that.
I can't believe you just said that word.
I can't believe it. All right, so we do have more show to do today. We have stuff planned for after. Our show topic of the day is the top 5 moments for our teams of the year. I obviously didn't put that in the title of the stream. Yes, Ryan.
Dom, shut up.
Oh,
Dom commented. Also, let's make sure that we're.
Dom, I don't want to hear.
Let's make sure.
Let's from you.
Ryan, let's make sure that we keep rolling with because this is going to be a really great show to put on our reels Sunday.
Yeah, I also have 6 team moments, not 5. I'm sorry.
Do you? No, you don't.
I legit have 6. I forgot. I thought of one this morning.
You said 16.
Oh,
yeah,
I said 6.
No way, you have 16.
Yeah, dude. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Well, I have 6, not 16.
Well, you can have an honorable mention then. Your 6th can be an honorable mention. That's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, I've got an honorable mention as well. So it's our top 5 moments of the year for our teams. There were a lot of great moments for all 3 of our teams this year. Nick might have surprisingly really great ones as well because the Tigers have had some phenomenal moments this year. Ryan, I'm sure you pieced some great ones together. Look, the Royals didn't have.
It's like my team should have been MVP finalist.
That's true. Actually, you will have a couple good ones from him. So I'm intrigued. Now, Nick, I don't know if you want to come up with an honorable mention on the spot. If you don't have one, it's okay. Ryan and I'll just So Ryan and I'll toss out
5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's okay. I just sat down on Monday and I watched 50 minutes of Mets highlights from the year. And
are you serious?
Comprised the list. No, I swear. I was watching over my ill mother, and we were just watching the Mets highlights because there was nothing else to do. I
have a question about that. Do you just not have a good memory?
No, I do, but I there were so many moments, and I knew what I wanted to do in my top 5, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. And it ended up that I did.
If it makes you feel better, I had my 5, and then this morning I woke up and I was like, "Oh wait, I have one more."
I actually completely forgot about the number 2 moment on my list until like right after I'd written it out before I watched the video. So yeah, so my honorable mention for the top 5 Mets moments of the year comes all the way from Cincinnati in a game where the Mets and the Reds went into an absolute battle. The Mets were down early. They were losing 7-3 at one point. The ball was flying out of Cincinnati. Home runs were it was a home run barrage. The game ended up getting tied. The Mets ended up going into extra innings with the Reds. And then in the 11th inning, Kevin Pillar hit an absolute mammoth 3-run homer. And at the time in the season, this seemed to be the jolt that the Mets needed. I believe they were not in first anymore, but this seemed to be the jolt that they needed to get them back. Obviously, it ended up not being the case, but it was such an impactful moment at the time that we really thought it was going to be a big moment. But it still makes an honorable mention for the top 5 moments of the year for the Mets, because it was just I was at work. I had the radio in my ear, and when Kevin Pillar hit it, I started running around because I was so excited, and they ended up winning the game 15-11. So
I bet your boss loved that.
Thankfully, my boss wasn't there, so
Man, you would have been canned.
No, he probably would have just been like, "Look at this guy listening to the Mets while on the job. That's great."
Right up at least.
Yeah, probably. All right, Ryan, go ahead for your
All right, so my honorable mention. It was tough to pick an honorable mention for like the list wise, but I went with opening day. The Royals set the club record for hits and runs on an opening day, defeating the Rangers 14-10. After the top of the first, they were down 5-0. They scored 5 runs. This game was also 4 hours and 26 minutes, which was the longest 9-inning game in franchise history. 4 different Royals had 2 RBIs, 2+ RBIs. 3 different Royals homered, then 5 different Royals logged multiple hits. So, Nick, you probably remember me during this because I was at your apartment going crazy.
I remember it so vividly. It was
I was so mad after the top of the first that here come the Royals out of nowhere. So that's the honorable mention.
Nice. All righty. Well, then we get into our top 5 here. There's a lot of really great moments to go with, but this number 5 for me was something I was watching live. Most of these I was watching live, but I was sitting there watching the game. It was Mets Brewers. The Mets were down 1-0 going into the bottom of the 7th in a doubleheader game. It actually might have been 2-1. Either way, no, it was 1-0, and it doesn't matter what the score was. It really doesn't. So Jose Peraza comes up to the plate against Josh Hader, who had been immaculate all year. I believe the game is in August. Hader had not allowed a home run all year. Jose Peraza comes up. He's been one of the most clutch hitters off the bench. And Jose Peraza smacks the only home run Josh Hader allowed in the entire season right there. And he hit the ball, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, there's no way Jose Peraza just hit a game-tying home run off of Josh Hader." He did, and it was incredible. They went to extra innings. The Mets ended up falling back down 3-2, and in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Mets managed to load the bases. Jeff McNeil got a walk-off 2-run single, and the Mets won the game. It was such an ecstatic game. It was in a time where the Mets were coming back so many times in games. Such a fun time of the year. I really miss that. And then we'll go Ryan and Nick because it's just whatever, even though Nick did get there first today.
Nick, go ahead. Take it. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm used to going after Nick, so go ahead.
Okay, well then we'll flip-flop Nick and put him back on top.
Awesome. All right, so number 5. My number 5 and number 4 kind of similar, but I'll just start with number 5. This was, I want to say, beginning of like April. I had no idea who this kid was, and he ended up providing me with 2 of the most entertaining games like I'd seen in a long time from a Tiger standpoint. Like Akil Baddoo in his first 2 games literally hit a home run in both games, and I remember like the last game of the series. I'll save that for later, but Baddoo's first 2 games for me is number 5 on my list.
Michael, you mentioned the Cincinnati Reds. They come in as my 5th top moment for the Royals this year. The Royals had a 4-run 9th inning against Cincinnati to walk off the Reds on July 6th, and it was no other than Salvador Perez who had the walk-off single. But the best thing about that game is that the Royals came back from 2 separate 5-run deficits to win that. So that's number 5 on my list.
I mean, that's great. You guys didn't talk nearly as much as I did, and I was really expecting you to because these are.
I kind of only have like an hour 15 to do this, so
that's fair.
Well, short and sweet, maybe short and sweet.
All right,
so that's our segment too.
Yeah, that's true. The Nick segment.
I'm very excited for next segment, and I want to get to it. So
that's fair. Okay, you're right. You make a great point. I fell in love with Jose Peraza a little bit. So at number 4 for the Mets, top 5 moments of the year, we have the Jacob DeGoat game on Jackie Robinson Day, where he struck out 15 batters. Went a little too far. He struck out 15 batters in a complete game, absolute immaculate game. It was fantastic. One of many games Jacob deGrom had of the year that were spectacular. This one to me was the one that stood out more than any. Everyone has a different game for the year that they believe were deGrom's best. To me, this one was his. Absolutely phenomenal.
Number 4 came from the same series that Badu played in prior, except this time he had his first career walk-off against the Twins, and it was just a cool moment. I mean, the Tigers weren't supposed to be anywhere near good last year, and the Twins were actually supposed to be competing for like possibly a wild card or a division race, and it was just cool. And that came off of a home sweep, and Akil Baddoo kind of like cemented himself in our lineup for the rest of the season after that.
For me, number 4, you guys know me. I'm a big history guy and franchise and records and stuff like that. So my number 4 is Nicky Lopez. On the final game of the season on October 3rd, clinched the first 300 batting average by a shortstop in Royals history in the regular season.
I love it. Now we get into the top 3, and for the Mets, these top 3 they're probably interchangeable, honestly. They are all spectacular moments and all top moments in baseball for the year. But at number 3, it was so hard for me to put it at third, but the Francisco Lindor becoming the King of New York game was absolutely phenomenal. I was at work for this game. The game
overpaid.
Ryan,
I wouldn't say King of the New York is the right way to put it.
I call it the King of New York game because that was my tweet that I made when he hit the 3rd home run, and it got a lot.
He's still not the King of New York.
He was the King of New York that day. Okay, I enjoy it
for one day. For one day,
yes, he was. So he hit 3 home runs in a game in what was an incredible back and forth game in the Subway Series in what was arguably the best series in baseball for the year. Just such a head-to-head, just incredible battle between two teams. Lindor hit 3 home runs. It was such an incredible moment. Solidified himself as a legend for the Mets.
Did you say he's a legend for the Mets?
He is. Okay.
The man hit 231.
You know what,
in his first season as a Met. He is not a Mets legend, Michael. He might be a legend for the most overpaid contract, but
Ryan,
other than that, he's not a legend for the Mets.
He will be. All right, Nick. Please.
I'm not saying whether he will or won't, but I'm saying he is definitely not a legend right now.
Okay, fine. He will
All
be.
right, so number 3.
Yes, Nick.
This was probably. Oh my God! I think Ryan. Were you at my apartment? You were at my apartment for this too. It was opening day. Of course, you were there.
Oh, of course I was there.
Oh my God! I almost started crying, bro. Then I realized it was opening day. I couldn't start crying, but when Miggy took Shane Bieber yard on opening day,
he went crazy
in
the snow.
Oppo Taco in Comerica off the reigning Cy Young. I almost lost it.
Oh, it was awesome.
And we still ended up winning that game, which is even the better part. But Miggy hitting an opening day home run, it was so awesome.
Wow. That's awesome.
Nick, I hate to do this to you, but my number 3 is the Royals staging their 6-run comeback on the Tigers on Alex Gordon night. I remember I was so emotional that night because you guys know me. My favorite Royals player, my favorite baseball player ever is Alex Gordon. And the Royals did not play well until once you got to the 5th inning, they scored 4 runs. In the 7th, they scored 5, and they came away with a 9-8 victory. They were down 6-0, and they came back and won. And what a great night. Gordon, when he threw out the first pitch, wasn't from the mound, it was from left field. And man, that man can still play.
I'm
a little depressed.
That's incredible, by the way, but sad. That's a great moment. So I just saw on Twitter that the Mets actually signed this guy today. Don't laugh. Don't say it's biased. Just listen.
Has to be minor league.
It is. Okay. Listen to this name. His name, Mirio Jase Rachidne Stander Ray John Tadio Benita.
How many names is that? Or
What?
Was that one name?
That is first. The first name is Mirio Jase Rockidney.
Can you put the name in the chat?
I can send it in the group. I'll send the text chat.
Yeah, send the chat.
Hilarious.
It's kind of like last night when I was calling the Cretan ASU game. I had to say this guy's name, Rati Andronikashvili.
Oh,
Nikash's name was in the middle of this guy's last name.
yeah.
Wow,
Andronikashvili.
that's incredible. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so this guy's name in short is Jay Benita. Wow,
He's 18.
that's incredible. He's 18.
That is a crazy name.
It is. That might be the craziest
How do you put
name
that
in
on the back of a
sports.
jersey? What are you doing? Full circle?
Someone commented on there said Esteban Julio Quarter Montoyo.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like that.
That's great. See, the Mets, they're always making memories. All right, so the number 2 moment for the Mets of the year, and this might shock you because number 1 is, well, you'll see. So number 2 was the Mets' best game of the year by far, the coolest Mets game moment of the year. It is the turn those thumbs around game where Michael Conforto got the walk-off single into left field as Javi Baez rounds third and Gary Cohen is losing his mind as just screaming, "Here comes Baez, trying to score. He scores, and the Mets win it." Oh, just absolutely incredible. As Baez just slid home, the Mets won the game. They came back from down 5-1 in the bottom of the 9th. One of the very small bright spots of the year, but absolutely stellar. I miss Javi Baez so much already. And
he's going to be a beast on the Tigers, and I'm so
yes,
happy.
He is, and I'm so sad that it's not going to be on the Mets. I'm telling you, he's going to be in the MVP race, and I'm so mad that it's not going to be on
El
the
Mago.
I love him so much. All right, go ahead.
Where are we at? Number 3?
Number 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay. Number 2, probably the most unexpected thing that I ever would imagine from the Tigers season. A kid named Spencer Turnbull went into Seattle and said, "I'm going to do the improbable and throw the first Tigers no-hitter since Justin Verlander." Okay. Yeah, I was pretty shell-shocked. I had no words. I remember I was playing basketball with my friends, and I just kept, I had the game on, and I was like, damn, he's actually going to get it. I didn't realize he was going to get until, the 7th inning, and then the Mariners had a nick for getting no hit that point in the season, so it was just kind of funny that Spencer Turnbull ended up doing it. But great moment for Tigers fans, first one since JV, so that felt pretty special.
I think the craziest thing about this is that it was them and the then Indians were the ones that were getting no hit.
Yeah,
and that no hitter from Turnbull made the Mariners' team batting average under the Mendoza line.
Yes.
And then look what they did. They came out of nowhere and almost got to the playoffs.
Yeah. And that was during the time where everyone was throwing a no hitter.
Exactly.
I think Wade Miley just threw one too, and it was just
it was the era of no hitters in the season.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Bartolo Colon to come back and throw a no hitter.
And you know what? Mine kind of relates to a no hitter. And let me preface this by saying I hate Dominic Stern with a passion for this. Chris Bubich goes into Wrigley Field on August 21st, has 6 no-hit innings.
Oh.
Dom says and texts out, "Chris Bubich, no-hitter." What does he do the next inning? Gives up a 2-run homer. The only hit the Cubs had in that game. Patrick Wisdom hit a 2-run homer. And after that, I wanted to honestly punch Dom in the face. Because first off, Dom just has a punchable face. Second off, I'm pretty sure I did slap him. Because that is the ultimate jinx move. So you want to know how I got revenge? Do you all remember student night at the Diamondbacks?
Blake Snell had no hitter. Blake Snell, yes.
I texted Dom, Snell no hitter.
Yes.
And then no hitter goes bye-bye.
Yeah, it did the next inning. That was really funny. And I was so mad at Ryan for that too. I was so mad at Ryan because I wanted to see a no-hitter live so
You know what?
badly.
I just wanted my sweet revenge. That was all on my mind. After what he did. After what he did, I wanted just some revenge. And you know what?
So
I got it.
I was so upset. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to watch a no-hitter." And then Ryan's like, "Nope, I gotta jinx it."
Nope. Yeah. Hold my beer, even though I'm not drinking because I'm not 21 yet. Yes. But it metaphorically, hold my beer. I got this.
And for the record, yes, Nick can. Nick's 21.
Yes. Nick, hold your beer.
I'll hold your beer. Just keep it safe.
Just for now. All right.
Yeah,
so
save it until I turn 21.
At number 1 for the top 5 Mets moments of the year, the best Mets moment of the year. Does anyone have any guesses? Because I think we should guess each other's number ones.
Nick and I's are obvious.
Yeah.
Nick and I's are obvious.
Okay, then
yours,
what's mine?
bro?
Interesting. I'm thinking.
I'll give you a hint, which will give it away. It has nothing to do with games. It wasn't in a game.
Is this a postseason thing?
Is this like a free agent thing? Is this you getting Max Scherzer?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No,
with Max Scherzer.
no. I wish, but no.
Pete Alonso home run derby.
Yes, sir. Pete Alonso winning the home run derby is the number one.
This is why I hate the home run derby. Pete Alonso was the reigning champ and should have been the top seed. Salvador Perez hits 28 home runs and loses.
Well, Pete was incredible. What is? Pete was amazing. It's tough. Yes, I understand. As a baseball fan watching that, I was like, man, poor Salvador Perez was incredible.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. The reigning champ should be the number 1 seed.
Put it on the negotiations table.
But no, MLB stupid, doesn't understand how to properly do things.
That's facts. The MLB.
The MLB.
You know what? I have one message for Rob Manfred. Get out of baseball.
That's so facts.
He sucks. He's absolutely terrible.
Every commissioner in sports sucks.
No.
Commissioners get a lot of hate.
Silver's not that bad for the NBA.
Silver's not bad. He just gets stepped on by the players.
Well, of course he does.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what I want. That's not what we need.
So the number one
either, but he's better than Goodell and
don't get me started on Goodell, bro.
So the number one moment of the year for the Mets is Pete Alonso winning the home run derby.
Your team sucks so much that you had to go for the home run derby.
It was the best moment of the year, and number 2 and number 3 were so good too.
Which is sad for a Mets team that should have made the playoffs. They sucked so bad they had to go outside of their play for their number 1 moment.
That is kind of disappointing, but I will say the Pete Alonso home run derby was incredible. Marco was there witnessing me losing my mind. It was pretty cool. He got to record me as Pete won it, and I make a fool of myself. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. You probably haven't. I should show you.
I think I definitely have.
I don't know, but it was all 7 minutes of it was really funny of the final round. So there was that. So that's the number 1 moment of the year for the Mets. Nick, we've got yours, then we have Ryan's, and then we go to your segment, and then we are finito.
Yeah, mine's pretty easy to guess, I'd say. Miguel Cabrera went into Toronto needing 1 more home run to reach 500.
Oh, then that makes this shirt even more appropriate today.
You rank Steven Matz? Yes, sir! Good looks. He took a breaking ball from Steven Matz that Matz said it wasn't even a strike. He took a yard. Miguel Cabrera has since enshrined himself in the 500 home run list. I think he's added on now. I think he's at 504 now or something like that. But yeah, that was one of the bigger milestones going into the season that I wanted him to break, just because he's probably going to retire after this next year. And I don't know how many more chances he's going to get like that. So just to see him do it was really awesome. I hoped he did it in Detroit. That would have been really cool. But for him to get it done was just awesome.
I mean, that pitcher's a foot outside, and he just socked it over the wall.
That's his career, man. He just doesn't – just hits balls for home runs every time.
A legend. Just a legend. Well, we all know what my number 1 moment is.
Yes.
Salvi, the should-have-been MVP finalist, breaks the single-season record for the most home runs by a catcher, passing Johnny Bench. And it couldn't have made me happier. It was against Cleveland on September 20th. Couldn't have made me happier. The 2 teams I hate most in baseball are the White Sox and the now Guardians. And then the Cardinals are right there. So I was so happy to see him do it against Cleveland. It made me so happy. Plus, I was just happy that he did it. If you guys did I ever tell you guys my reaction to that? Because it was a doubleheader. So I was watching. So it was the first game of the doubleheader. So I was watching it, and it was Salvi's first at bat. I was like, watch him on the first pitch, just break the record right here and send one deep. What do you do on the first pitch? sends one 440 for the record. I lost it. I went crazy. My roommates thought I was a lunatic running around my apartment. But wow, it was incredible.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you have it. All righty. Nick, we throw it over to you. The first segment of the off season. I am stoked about it. Well, it is the first of the off season. It's also our first show completely virtual again for a month. I am so excited for it. Nick, give us a little, because we didn't get to really explain it much when Jess was here. So explain a little bit about what your segment is, and then we'll get rolling into it.
Yeah, so it's basically just a simple guess the player type of segment. I basically read off their main or important stats / accolades, and then you guys just basically guess. Every week, not every week, but every segment, I'll come up with like a different position. So like this week's pitchers, so I picked like 4 or 5 pitchers that are just randomized. I just have a weird process in doing it, and I just pick 4 random pitchers, and they have to guess. I give them the stats and accolades, and they just have to guess who it is.
Okay, I am stoked. Are we ready to roll, everyone?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, I am hype. Let's get going.
All right, first pitcher here. This guy went 173 and 153 with a 3.54 ERA. Finished as a 6-time All-Star, 1-time Cy Young Award winner, and a 2-time Silver Slugger.
Whoa.
This is a pitcher.
Yeah, they're all pitchers. Randy
I have
Johnson?
a gut guess
No.
here, but I think it's wrong. Zach Greinke?
No, he said finished.
Retired. These guys.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
I
was going to say Greinke too.
I went a little old school today.
Hence the Barrigito. I liked it. I had to get my mind out of the Athletics for a second when you were reading that. I was like, Athletics? Who on the Athletics? And then I was like, never mind. It's not the Athletics. 2 Silver Sluggers back in the day. There weren't many. Nolan Ryan?
Mm-mm.
There weren't many pitchers back in the day that could hit. And the ones that could hit really, really well and consistently hit really well. Also, because Ryan's at home, he can cheat now.
I'm at home. No dip. It's kind of like we're on winter break. Also, no, I'm looking at my rundown. Would you like for me to share my screen?
No, it's okay. I just wanted to point it out.
I
I
have a guess. This guy had anger issues, which means he might have been able to hit the ball really well, but I don't remember how he could hit. Carlos Zambrano.
Nah, good guess though.
Oh, that's a great guess, though. Yes.
I just remember he would punch water coolers and stuff. So I was like, why not? Why
I'll
not
give
go
you guys-
for it?
I'll give you guys some more hints. He started pitching in 1980 and retired in 97.
Okay.
Well,
He won the World Series once. Yeah, Rookie of the Year, Gold Glover.
Rookie of the Year, too.
Mm-hmm.
Started pitching in 1980.
He won the Cy Young in his second year.
Won the Cy Young in his second year.
No, it's not that good. Never mind. Doc started a couple years after.
I'm looking something up. I just want to see if Carlos Zambrano won any Silver Sluggers.
I think he did. Because when Zambrano played, he was immaculate, man. How many
AL,
Cy
did he pitch mainly in the AL or the NL?
NL. One Cy Young.
Oh, they said 6. Never mind.
No,
What was
he was
the
a six-time All-Star.
6-time All-Star.
Oh, okay.
Wow, this is tough.
6-time All-Star.
Marco
Glavine?
Marco would get it?
Yeah.
Tom Glavine?
No, he pitched into till 2008.
I pitched from 1980 to 97.
Hold on. Did you say Marco might get it?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so it's a Dodger.
Yeah.
It is a Dodger.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oral Hershiser?
No.
Oh,
I know he won one in like the 90s.
dang it. Is it
Still my mind is on Dodgers now.
it's not Don Sutton.
As
It's
it
not
should be.
Don Sutton.
In the
is it?
80s,
Yep.
Fernando Valenzuela.
Bang.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you to my father for being a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Next
could live
guy.
for
This guy finished with a 324 and 292 career record.
Whoa, this guy's a legend.
Wow.
3.19 ERA.
What do you
8-time
already do?
All-Star. 2-time ERA title.
ERA title 2 times.
And a World Series champion.
Wow. No Cy Youngs?
I'm taking more time. No Cy Youngs.
No
Wow.
Cy Youngs, and he won 324 career games.
And won 2 ERA titles and is an 8-time All-Star.
Yeah, he finished
Wait,
in the Cy Young one
Michael,
year.
I'm going to take your guess. Don Sutton.
No.
Ugh. I know he won over 300 games.
Not many people have.
Won 324 career games.
Yep.
2 ERA titles. Never won a Cy Young.
He finished second one year.
1 year.
This is a tough one.
Are we more recent or are we like older?
No, this is like I said, I think I went kind of old school.
Wait.
Okay, I'm waiting.
I don't think Nolan Ryan ever won a Cy Young. Is it
You're
Nolan
correct.
Ryan?
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, he never won a Cy Young.
Never won a Cy Young.
That's right.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait. I was questioning myself because it's either he had one or none.
Yeah,
And-
never won a Cy Young and had so many no-hitters.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy.
Oh, weird.
All right.
Not gonna lie, I'm kind of dominating Michael today.
It's 2-0. There's 2 more.
3-0 because I have
Oh,
Barry
there you
Zito.
go.
I can come up with a couple more.
That's okay. Go as much as you want.
Next guy finished with a 204 and 150 career record.
204.
3.48 ERA. He won a Cy Young. He's a World Series champion. 3-time All-Star. And is a World Series MVP.
Tom Seaver.
No.
I thought he won more games than 204.
I don't think he did.
I thought he won more games than that.
Let me see. Actually.
Trying to think.
Thieva.
Hey, Michael, quit cheating. Get off your phone.
He won 311, so you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he won way more than that.
Yeah, I didn't remember. And I've been waiting for a time to say Tom Seaver all day.
AL or NL?
NL. NL, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so NL. That narrows it down by half. Cool.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Can I phone a friend? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was going to ask my dad because he knows Dodgers history, if it's Dodgers. So, what the? Okay, something popped on my bed and nobody's over there. Well, you might have to go to my house. So, I'll let you guys know after the show how it's going.
This guy's also a Gold Glove winner. I don't think I mentioned that. It's not really that important. He pitched from 83 to 2000.
83 to 2000. Not good.
No.
He never won a World Series MVP. I'm stupid.
He spent 15 years in the NL, 3 years in the AL. Actually spent a season with the Mets.
He did? Oh. That's exciting.
That might have just taken away my guess.
Hold on. I'm trying to think.
Wow. The whole Mets thing is not tripping with me because I have a guess.
He played 1 year for
Yeah.
the Mets. So
Yeah, I was
don't
gonna
let
say,
go.
Oh,
he
1
could've
year for the
played
Mets?
Yeah, he could have played
Yeah.
like 2 minutes with the Mets.
I'm going to go back to an earlier guess.
Yeah,
or
you're right.
Hershiser.
Oh man, God. See, old school stuff. I really, really struggle with. Like, really struggle with. I'm more of a 2000s to today guy, but
I feel the same way. I just thought I'd change it
Yeah.
up this week, but I can.
no, it's okay. I need the history lesson anyway, as always.
Okay. Last guy I have on the list, but if you guys want one more, I can do one more.
I want to do a recent because this will be our last starting pitchers of the year anyway. So I'd like to see a recent.
Yeah, let's do a recent for him.
While you guys are
After.
guessing, I'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
So this guy finished with a 254 and 186 career record, 3.9 ERA,
What was the ERA? Sorry.
3.9,
3.9.
5-time All-Star, 3-time World Series champ, and a 1-time World Series MVP.
Ooh.
Primarily in the AL. I can give you this guy's years too.
Goose
Yeah,
Gossage.
the years.
What?
Goose Gossage.
No. This guy pitched from 77 to 94.
Okay, so he's in the league for a while, about 18 years. Wow, this one's hard.
You got to think of teams that won. Well, he didn't necessarily win it with the same team. I was going to say, to me, the Yankees stand out because they won obviously a lot of World Series.
Only the
Well,
most.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying in that time span.
Can you give us another hint?
Yeah, one sec. I gotta pull this up again.
Don Drysdale.
No.
That was just
This guy. Well, I think I give you honestly. He played for 4 different teams. He primarily spent he spent his entire career primarily with one team. He's a living legend for this franchise.
How many teams did he win the World Series with?
I believe. Oh God, how do I?
If you go to the World Series, the 3x World Series, it should say it, but I don't know. On the top of his baseball reference.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Tell me you're obsessed with baseball reference without telling me you're obsessed with baseball reference, Michael.
I have a stat head subscription, so I'm obsessed.
It doesn't. But it doesn't. It's not giving me the option.
That's weird. That's annoying.
Okay.
It might say it if you scroll all the way down.
From
Okay.
77 to 94. So
In the awards category in the bottom. If he's one of the faces of a franchise, there are not many people
Pitching wise.
Right.
Okay, that does help.
It does, yeah. Damn.
Wow. This one's tough.
Wow. Like, old school knowledge is a blind spot already, and AL old school knowledge is really blind for me. Like, I know, like, most of my old school knowledge is NL stuff.
Because it's the Mets.
Right. Because I'm used to, teams that the Mets played and stuff. So, yeah, it's wow.
Can you give us one of the teams you played for?
One of the teams he played for, but it wasn't the team he was obviously a legend on.
That won't help you. That won't help you at all.
You know what? It'll help me a little. It'll help me more than
Primarily played for the Tigers.
Oh.
Okay, that might help. That might help.
Phil
That actually
Necro?
does
No,
help.
that's dumb. I'm dumb. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Now my brain's starting to flow a little bit. Helps Tigers.
I can't even think of.
He pitched 14
Jack
years.
Morris?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go, Jack Morris.
Okay, the Tigers really did help. I was like, who was a
Well, of course
legend
it did.
pitching wise for the Tigers?
Yeah.
I was like,
He's elite, of course.
Yes.
there it is.
Sure. All right.
All right, give Michael his current. See if he can get one on me here.
Yeah. Let's
All
see.
right. This guy doesn't have a lot of accolades to work with, so bear with me. But he's you guys all know who he is very well.
Okay.
Finished with 143 wins, 91 losses, 3.52 ERA. Was one Cy Young. He's a 4-time All-Star. He has 1 ERA title. He played for 4 different teams. And he spent 9 years in the AL, 5 years in the NL.
Question: did this guy play a good amount of years in the Central?
Which Central?
AL.
No. He didn't play any years in the AL Central.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, sorry. He did. Yeah, he did.
Okay, so that helps my guess.
He
Cliff Lee.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Hated that man. He was so good and always dominated the Royals.
dominated the Mets too. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys one more. That was pretty easy.
Hated him for it.
That was a good one though. That's a really good one.
When he was in
I
his
love
prime,
Cliffy.
he was so good.
Okay, this is a good one. I miss this guy.
Let's see.
I gotta put the baseball reference. Okay, this guy finished with 163 wins, 102 losses, 3.36 ERA, 3-time All-Star, ERA title, NLCS MVP. Spent 13 years in the big leagues. Spent 12 years in the NL, 1 year in the AL.
Damn it.
12 years in the NL.
Michael Waka.
Michael Waka now. He pitched from 2001 to 2013.
Oh.
Wait, say that again?
2001 to 2013.
Wow, that hurts.
He definitely didn't win the NLCS MVP in 2010, 11, 12, or
Okay,
13.
my original guess was going to be Cole Hamels.
Who?
My original guess was going to be Cole Hamels.
Nah, I can guess that.
Because I heard 1 year in the AL, and I was like, ooh, he was on the Rangers.
Yeah.
No, yeah, this guy played 1 year in the AL.
How many wins?
163.
Okay.
I mean, that he has plus 60 on his wins losses. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Oh. From 2001 to 2013.
Yeah.
It's the CS MVP part that's going to really help. But
You won CS MVP.
CS MVP. Okay. That helps. Roy Oswald?
Yeah.
Wait, oh my God! I was gonna say Roy Oswald, but I forgot that the Astros were in the NL.
Yep.
Oh
yep.
my God, dude! I was gonna say that.
Here, one more.
I was literally.
Michael, you got to go with your gut, buddy.
I was saying in my head, I was like, oh, Roy Oswald, but I was like, no, but the Astros are in the AL. Damn it! I forgot that they were in the
in the NL, buddy. They were the NL.
Strange thing. 6 NL West teams and 4 AL West teams.
That's so bad.
That was horrible.
So strange.
That was
so stupid.
All right. If you guys are down for one more, I have one more, but if not, we can move on.
Yes. Oh, I'm down.
Okay.
One more.
I only have no accolades, but this guy finished with 150 wins, 98 losses, 3.63 ERA, 3-time All-Star, played 11 years on one team and 1 year on another team.
Felix Hernandez.
No, good guess though.
Is he retired or not?
Retired. 2006 to 2017.
Dang, my guess was going to be Rick Porcello.
Well, he played on 3 teams anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Mets.
You say 06 to 17?
Yep.
Oh. This is a good one to end on.
This is a really good one to end on.
I like this guy a lot.
Man, spent all that time with one team.
Yep.
Was he brought up with that team?
Was he drafted by them?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, like, did he make his debut with them and then ended his career with another team?
Okay. He did end his career with another team for 1 year.
Okay.
AL or NL?
AL for 11 years, NL for 1 year.
I have a guess, but I'm trying to remember where this guy played his final year.
Damn, Felix Hernandez was such a great guess. But he
I'm gonna go another AL West pitcher, Michael. Jared Weaver.
Yeah.
He retired in 2017.
I knew he retired in 17 because he just had gone down the
God.
But
I thought he
his
retired in like 2014.
No, I just couldn't remember who his last team was for a minute. Who was his last team?
The Padres.
Huh. Makes sense. Garbage team.
He went 0-5.
Makes sense. Garbage for garbage.
When did he play with the Angels in the major leagues for a couple of years, or was he in the minors for a few years before he came back with the Padres?
No, he went straight from the Angels to the Padres.
Like he played in the majors in 2016.
2016, he went 12-12.
Yeah.
Wow.
He actually
I
was
don't
not bad.
remember that.
He gave up the most home runs in the league, that 37 runs.
But that's the whole thing about Weaver is that he gave up a lot of home runs throughout his career. So
yeah. Wow. I didn't remember. Wow. He wasn't even on my radar. I thought he retired in 2014.
Michael gets shut out for the first edition of Nick's segment.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, first time ever? That's not true. I thought for the first time of the semester, yeah. Of this season, yes. I'm sure there'll be plenty more. Ryan, your segment's next week. So it's going to be great.
It's going to be fun.
And hopefully.
I'm having trouble, though, since there's only two of you. I might only do 3 categories.
Okay, but our guest I don't know how long our guest who may come on will stay for, because I have a feeling he might want to stay for a while. So
Gary?
Why?
Who?
Gary?
Shh, we're not talking about it yet.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing 5 if he's going to be here.
Oh my
goodness, Ryan, ruin everything.
They don't know who he is.
No, they don't.
They don't know.
Gary the Snail.
It's just like off of his first name, like, ooh, I know who it is. There's so many Garys that we could go with.
Gary Sheffield.
Yeah, we're having Gary Sheffield on next week.
Yeah.
We could have a Gary Sheffield on. But yeah, so hopefully
it's gonna be electric.
Hopefully, I'm gonna email him today, and hopefully he will get back to me.
Good.
So we will see what happens. I'm really looking forward to it. If he comes on, then yes, we can have a bigger. I don't know how long he's gonna want to stay for, because we're gonna have plenty to talk about.
That's very true.
I mean, we can go an entire hour just talking to him about stuff. So I don't know.
Yes,
I might have to alter the topic of the show anyway, and we'll see. We'll figure it out. Plenty of time between now and then.
As long as he participates.
Yeah, right. It has to be something that it has to be something that he can participate in.
History of baseball, baby.
Oh, it's going to be great. So thank you, everybody, for watching. It was a great show. Started with Jessica Kleinschmidt, ended with Nick's great segment. And in between, we talked about our teams for a little bit. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. It was a great time.
Great show.
We'll be back next week.
Shut out Michael. I couldn't be happier.
Yes, we are hoping to have a guest every week of winter break. So we should have a guest next week, regardless, whether it's who I want to have on or somebody else. So, well, I have plenty of people who will come on. It's just a matter of getting them on the show. So thank you so much for watching. He will, yes. I'm trying to get 4 new people while we're home and on Zoom, because we can be more intimate with them. And
I can reach out to someone for us.
Okay, well, yes, please. Maybe when you go out to dinner,
I might have someone in the works.
Maybe when you go out to dinner with them, you can slide.
Oh no, different guy.
Oh, okay. Well, then both. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you. We'll see.